pretend, we score the goal!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the eighth wonder of the world, the Coach Killers podcast, episode 27. My name's Stefan. I'm here with Nick. Nick, tell us the week that has been.
Stefan, what a week it's been. A week of comebacks, a week of, just pure awesome football.
Pure footballing glory, mastermind, tacticians, everything.
That's it. Never count out any team. Every team's got a chance at any time.
Well, for now anyway. Mate, something's rigged at the moment. But how was your week anyway? Let's put football aside because that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, how was your week?
The week was quite good,
What did you get up to?
I was just watching football, mate. And
I said put football aside because this is what we're doing.
That's what I do because I love it,
Indeed you do.
That's it. What about yourself?
Mate, just been busy in the business world as usual. The business of doing absolutely nothing and just making coffees for people, but that's about it.
Yes. Well, I don't know what to respond to that.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
No, it's quite good.
I love smelling the Nescafe in the morning, mate.
Yeah?
At 6 a.m. when you get up, watch the Champions League preview. You got all these bullshit artists like Gary Lineker talking it up.
Really?
All these people that got no idea. But it's good. It's been a great week.
Mate, I think, have we seen a downfall of a club that might not be there next season?
I think we have.
I don't know. I think the Central Coast are going the way of the North Queensland Fury.
I think you're right, mate. I think you're right.
We'll discuss that, a bit later on.
Indeed.
So, what's first?
As usual, let's kick it off with our Coach Killer of the Week.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Before we do the Coach Killer, there was so many options this week.
Oh, I can't.
So
mate,
many.
We've never had this, We had to literally sit there for a good couple of hours and decide who it was going to be.
Right, Liverpool were a chance. They dropped their lead.
The Mariners.
Right? The Mariners, massive loss, shambles of a team. Tottenham, what are they doing at the moment? All right, these are all things we're going to speak about. Real Madrid and, changing managers every 2 months.
Atletico?
Oh, Atletico is crazy.
Roma?
Roma's been Coach Killer too much. But there was only one. There was a clear standout.
Yes.
There had to be.
And on that note, give me the drum roll.
Here we go.
And our Coach Killer of the Week is Paris Saint-Germain.
Yes, PSG.
Unbelievable. I cannot believe we're having this discussion again.
Mate, they lost 3-1 at home to Man United, my boys.
Your
in the
boys.
Champions League. And, guess who made it through to the Champions League
I can't believe it.
quarterfinals?
And we were talking about this on our last episode. We were talking about the potential comebacks.
Well, you were pretty adamant. I was a bit off. I'm like, there's no way we're going to do it.
I said it can be done because it's been done before and...
Well, they have a history, don't they?
That's right. Well, anyway, pointing back to the game, PSG allowed a 2-goal lead to slip, in the second leg of their Champions League last 16 tie, and the fans have obviously voiced their hate.
They beat United 2-0 at Old Trafford.
Yeah, at Old
in the
Trafford,
first leg,
yeah.
and succumbed to a 3-1 defeat. Then at the Parc des Princes, man.
Yeah,
I cannot. I was over the moon, as a United supporter. But it was absolutely amazing and one of the best I've seen.
It was, for sure. It would have been a great moment for all of you.
It was a win of a decade.
And I've got a question for you soon. But just on this, this is the third time in successive seasons that this has happened under different managers. Besides going to get guys like Neymar, Mbappe, having all these quality players.
Don't get me started on Neymar.
Again, it has happened. Again, this has happened.
Neymar's being investigated for his tweets after the game.
Really?
He laid into the refs. He laid into them.
Mate, listen, we'll get to this point anyway, but
okay.
Continue on about the match. I want to hear.
And, the club's ultras really, wrote a letter claiming that the PSG's an absolute laughingstock.
They are. They are the laughingstock of Europe.
Yeah.
Eric Choupo-Moting, I love his name, by the way, he came out and said that the Manchester United loss is in the forefront of our minds. And, to me, that means that they really haven't recovered.
Mate, are they pretenders or contenders? What do you make of their
biggest
results?
Biggest absolute waste of time they've got a waste of a club, right? You've got all this money, all this panache because they're on top in the French league. Let's be honest, French football is not up to the standard of not even Italian football.
Do you think
and
they care
Italian
about,
football's in a crisis,
do
right?
you think they care about Europe?
Well, I think they do. Just look at their transfer spending. But the problem is that the quality that they come up against week in, week out is not good enough for them to line up against Manchester United, a decimated Manchester United, with a bunch of young guys running around. They couldn't even hold
the two babes out there.
They couldn't even hold a 2-goal lead. I'm very disappointed. They deceived me once again, PSG.
Well, it just shows you, mate, when a team believes, and they play as a team, not as individuals.
But honestly,
anything can happen.
Honestly, no one.
And Roma was proof last season.
That's right. But take everything away that we've seen right now to this point. Yeah. PSG should have gone through. If you looked at the lineup before the game, even myself looking at the lineup, I was like, oh my goodness, what a cruise this is going to be for PSG.
I thought that myself.
I go on my tea break and I see this score. I fell off my chair.
I almost didn't wake up to watch the game. Almost. I'm like,
honestly,
I did, mate.
It was one of the greatest footballing comebacks, I'd say, of our era.
Yeah.
And we're lucky that we've seen plenty more. And there's plenty more to talk about in this episode.
It's dead set in the past, 10 years. It's United's
This is crazy.
win.
This is crazy.
All right, we've won Premier League titles in the past 10 years. But this, I think,
I just
brought the club together.
Before you elaborate on that, lastly, I just want to know what it was like watching that game. Because I saw my team come back live in front of my eyes. Wait, okay. I just want to know, what did you think at the end? Honestly, did you go on a rant? Did you just go absolutely crazy?
So the match finished at about, 7:15?
And your heart rate when Rashford was about to take
the whole house was woken up, I should just say, from the jubilation. Mate, I've only cried a couple times for United, and Ollie's done it again, mate.
Indeed, he has.
It was amazing.
Honestly, it was one of the most cheerful footballing stories in Europe.
Well, no other team has come back from 2-0 away from home and come back to make it through.
Oh, we came back from 3-0 away from home, but anyway, 4-1. Sorry,
4-1.
Look, they've done a good job. I can't say nothing. I'm a neutral. For all the other rival English teams, just have a look at the example that Manchester United is setting, because that's a team on the up. It's a team that was decimated. It's a team that played their young guys against a team with in excess of hundreds of millions of dollars spent and still went through.
Like I said,
on belief.
It shows you when you have a manager that you believe in, you have individuals that believe in the manager and the club and want to play.
Fans that support the club, the players, everyone's back on song.
They're playing as a complete team, cohesive team.
If there's one lesson to be learned from all this, in this Coach Killers segment of this episode, it's football is always 11 against 11.
That's right. Doesn't matter how many superstars you have.
It's 11
If they can't play together, they can't play together, And we've seen that in the past. But let's talk about Neymar.
Absolute garbage.
What do you make of that? Sore loser?
Big sore loser. He's just...
Tuchel defended him as well.
That guy as well. Honestly, Thomas Tuchel, you had me fooled. I actually thought he was a good manager. For a manager to have succumbed to that defeat, not hanging crap on Manchester United because he's in great form, but he obviously underplanned.
Mate, there was no way.
He obviously undervalued Manchester United. He didn't prep right for the game because you knew the form they were in. Even though they had a couple of big players out, and played young guys, he underestimated.
10 out of our normal starting 11 were missing.
That's right. And
the bench was all 17, 18
As a professional manager employed by, the sheikh there, I think he's a sheikh anyway.
Probably.
Your job is to do the best preparation. And what did he do? They came out and got embarrassed. They are the laughing stock of Europe.
Complete
and you know
laughing
what?
Stock.
They are in ranks of the Premier League table, the most competitive league. They are intense.
That's right. And that's why PSG is our coach killer of the week.
Anyway, moving on from all the hype in Europe, let's come back down to Australia and let's kick it off with the A-League review. Unbelievable results, Nick. Unbelievable.
Results.
The reigning champions have fallen. They have fallen. And do you know who to?
Well, I know. I watched the game.
Are you sure?
Well, they fell to a resurging Newcastle Jets team at GMHBA.
Yes. So in Geelong, victory, go there with the panache and favouritism.
It's the one game of the year.
You expect, hang on. Right? You expect them to win and thrash the life out of Newcastle Jets, but then Johnny Kachumba scores in the first half, puts them up 1-0, and then Petrados with an absolute belter outside the box in injury time finishes it off. 2-0.
2-0.
What are you doing, Kevin Muscat? That shiny bald head, what has happened to it?
I don't know what's going on. There must be a little bit of a plague happening down at the Victory.
Do you reckon it's Victory plague?
They've been dropping a few points, and they can't afford to drop any more. They got Brisbane Roar tomorrow night, so...
Well, what does it make for... Forget about Victory for a second. What about the Jets? What does this mean for them?
The Jets are right in. They're right in there. They can take Adelaide.
I mean, that means they're 5 games unbeaten now. So, I don't know.
You know what it is? It's
are they going to do it?
It's Georgievski.
It is.
He's
leading the Masso Marvel.
Mate, he was everywhere in that game against the Victory. He was.
No, they're doing very well, and him as well with his leadership qualities. He's obviously making them believe in something.
Oh, him and Dimmy, mate.
So
that's what it's all about down there. And look, I'm going to say they're going to make the finals.
So you think they can make it? I was just about to ask. No, give me one. Give me one.
I think Adelaide United will miss.
So Adelaide United will miss, and City
I hope
Jets
Adelaide
will go
United
through.
will miss because they're scum.
Wow.
But
harsh, Nicholas.
But I think they will miss. I think City... I don't know. They got the shoemaker, but
the one-eyed shoemaker. He's no good. That bloke.
Yeah,
he's no good. You're gonna see him, delivering pizzas soon and shoemaking.
Mate, you know what needs to happen? Victory need to sign Fornaroli next season.
I think that'll cause a stir. Imagine going to the Melbourne Derby, seeing
huge.
Bruno Fornaroli in the mighty V.
And
that'll be nuts.
Kenny, come on, mate. Kenny, you've been on the podcast. We've hyped you up. You got to start scoring goals. We love you.
He missed a few. Chances.
No, he had a few chances in that Newcastle game.
I don't. Yeah,
he's got to start putting them away.
Yeah, I agree with that because he's their big backup. But look, he's a hard-working player. He works definitely hard off the ball. He's always pressing up. He's running back as well to defend. Do you think it's just the
experience? Like he doesn't.
I don't think
experience.
No, I do not think that because the A League's at a very not easy level. But if you're a player coming from the NPL, you can sort of. It's going to take time for you to adjust to the A League.
He won the Golden Boot in the NPL.
Yeah, well, look, give him time. He's still young. He's a young prodigy of Australian football. If this guy takes off, then what? Imagine he goes to sign for an EPL team next season.
It could be
stranger things have happened. You never know.
He could get a game in
Arsenal. Look what happened with Moy. Moy came here. No one expected nothing of him. He was a reject at that stage in his career. And
I agree.
It launched him off again.
If Kenny kicks off, mate, Victory is going to be really unstoppable. On paper, they're the best team in the A-League.
I agree.
Just not playing like
I agree. They'll still be there in the final day anyway.
Anyway, let's move on. Next game. The drubbing.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe this. I don't even want to talk about this.
There was so many 911 calls, or 000 calls here.
Down the F3 highway down there with the big sauce bottles.
So many 000 calls. Apparently 11 men got their pants pulled down. There was
that's too harsh.
Massive scenes.
Too harsh. No.
Mate, the Central Coast got demolished by Wellington Phoenix.
Yes.
Stephen Taylor and his boys.
Yes.
Final score, 8-2. Almost the worst in history. History.
Almost a cricket score, mate. Central Coast already had problems going into the game. They had injuries. They had a lot of players missing for disciplinary reasons, suspensions and stuff like that. So
maybe they were playing on amateur mode like in FIFA.
That's a dagger to the heart. If you're a Central Coast fan listening, sorry.
Jem, come over to Victory, man.
Jem,
cut your losses, bro.
No, you know what? I'm going to say this, and I don't even care that we interviewed him, but Jem Karasan was absolutely woeful. With all the experience he's had, the way he played was an absolute shocker. Honestly, I expected more. No one's going to be beating the door down for your contract, mate. Let me tell you. And we had this guy on a week ago. I didn't see any spirit or anything from him.
It's hard, maybe he drives it, but the rest of the team, I don't know. They have the players, they have a good squad. They just, I don't know.
I don't think they do have a good squad. That's where I disagree.
And they sacked Mike Mulvey. Which is 1 o'clock in the morning. They couldn't wait till the next morning, so they sacked him at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Honestly, no.
And now they got ex-Matildas.
We need to have this discussion. Unbelievable scenes on the faces of these fans, right? The club's a joke. The club is a joke. Get rid of this damn club and let it sink into the hole or get owners that actually care about the club, want to bring players, don't want to make it a laughing stock like when they brought Bolt over, right? They brought Bolt over, and that, mate. Come on, people were saying this is a great idea. Giving a worldwide sprinter a trial to play soccer, that is an absolute joke.
Dortmund gave him a trial.
I don't care. The joke is that Central Coast gave him a trial because they need money. They're that desperate. That's the point I'm trying to make. You know,
what's the solution, Stefan? What happens?
Get the hell out of here. That's the solution.
Fold them?
No, bring in a B League. Bring in the Hyundai B League, and then we'll see if this team.
All season.
They're content. They're content with the fact that they're on the bottom, and they don't give a squat. They
know now that the season's over, right? So I don't know,
mate. I just want to.
Still, it's pride on the line. Like, come on.
They've got no pride. The pride's gone. You know, we were sitting here 3 episodes ago talking about their number one fan, right? That guy who's going through harsher times than this. How would he be feeling? Look at his team. Seriously, the Central Coast Mariners, you guys are an absolute joke. I don't care.
That would be a mid-table NPL team. Right?
Mate, Bentley Greens will come over and give him an ass kicking, all right?
Well, mate, it was 4-0 at half-time.
That's a joke. Look, that's fine, right? That's fine. Blowouts happen. They happen in Europe, but... What I couldn't... The lack of trying.
Mate, 59 minutes have gone, you're 7-0 down. How much more are you going to try? You can't. You just give up.
No, but this is... No. Yeah. But how did you get to 7-0 down is what I'm asking. Because the players don't give it a shit. Jem Karajan came here from Reading. Jem Karajan came all the way from Reading just to collect a nice paycheck. Because the owner doesn't give a diddly squat about the team. He'll just pay anyone their wages. And, Bozza was saying this as well. What happens if the players get told, right, after the game, they're not getting paid or they have to wait on their wages? Then you'll see them run out on the park, he said. And that's the honest truth. They're content. They know they're not going to go down. They know nothing will happen. But, mate, if you're a Central Coast fan...
Nothing's on the line anymore now.
Seriously, if I was a Central Coast fan, I'd give all my merchandise back to the club. I'd send the membership back to the club because that is not a club. That's just a bunch of rich kids taking your money.
Yeah, I agree. Let's move on. What's our next game?
Moving on, I'm out of breath. But anyway, moving on to a more sunnier topic. Western Sydney versus the Brisbane Roar. What an entertaining game. Riera absolutely dominated and he fired the Western Sydney to a 4-1 A-League win over Brisbane. But the win was sort of overshadowed because the German marvel of Western Sydney actually got omitted.
Really?
So
what's his name?
Mate, I'm struggling to say it.
Give it a go.
Bom Johan?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bom Johan. Anyway, look, Alexander, the German marvel, right, got omitted. And
why is that?
Well, we don't know.
They haven't said.
They've said, he hasn't been trying in training. That is a load of garbage. We both know there's more to this situation. The thing is, Marcus Babbel recommended this guy to the Wanderers, and he said he really, really, really wanted to get him in at the start of the year, so I'm not sure what's happening. But anyway, Nick, tell me how you saw the game.
Well, Riera's first half double got the job done after, what's his name, from Brisbane, Wenzel Halls.
Yeah.
That super strike, man, that was so good. But, they did enough to win the 3 points at Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah, they did very well, and, I just still can't believe Babbel omitted the German.
It's quite crazy, Stefan. I totally agree, The win continues the Wanderers' fine recent form, though, with 3 wins and a draw in their past 4 matches, lifting them to 20 points.
I know, that's unreal.
A few
I know, we were hammering him.
They were down there with the Central Coast. And
Babbel, we nicknamed Babbel the Tomato.
Well, they're 8 points behind 6th place Wellington now.
Yeah.
Right? 6 games remaining in the season. Can they turn it around, Stefan? Will they get in there?
Look, it's a long shot for them to get in there. No, they won't get in there because there's issues with the German, with both of them, Babbel and Bom Johan or whatever his name is. I can't say it, but yeah, there's obviously a rift between them and he's their best player.
I think we're seeing the real Western Sydney now.
Yeah.
They're standing up.
Well, guess what? It's too late. It's too late. It's not good enough.
It's too late.
It's not good enough. But lastly, just before we finish the A-League review, seriously, the Central Coast Mariners are an absolute disgrace to this country. I'm so sorry. They are. They're a disgrace to football in Australia. Get it right.
That's it. Good job.
But anyway, moving on from my bad temper at the moment.
Is it time?
It's time.
All right.
So we sat down with a very, very special A-League player. Do you want to tell us?
Absolute gentleman. and amazing
What a
person.
he was
and,
pretty humble as
you
well.
know, quality, 3-time A-League champion.
Yes, and what might people know him as?
The slippery fish from
He-
Brisbane Roar.
Henrique!
And this is how it went.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest for episode 27. He's a 3-time A-League champion winner with the mighty Brisbane Roar, the slippery fish himself, Henrique.
Welcome, Enrique. How are you, mate? Glad to have you on.
Thanks, guys. I am good. It's a pleasure to be with you guys.
Thank you, mate.
So, Enrique, let's just kick off the interview by asking you about your early career and growing up and playing football in Brazil. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that was like?
Yes. My first memory about start playing was very difficult. So back then, my mom and my dad wasn't able to keep it up, paying the fees and putting me in a good club. So I had to choose to go for a smaller club in Brazil. And I just have to go by myself, as a 7 years old, catching bars and go by yourself. And, was very difficult, but was something that I choose to do it, So back then I knew that I just want to play soccer, I didn't know about being a professional, but I love to play soccer anywhere, on the street or on the school, after school, anywhere. So I just choose to do that.
Fantastic.
Like all the young kids,
Yeah.
that's really good, to show that passion and, the love for the game.
Yes, that's what I'm all about. So I'm all about to show like my passion on the field, show that everyone is capable of doing. If I did, someone else can do as well.
Henrique, a lot of the listeners today won't know that you actually signed for Feyenoord in Holland when you were 18. Can you tell us what it was like and the difference in quality compared to the Brazilian clubs you played for?
Yes, it was unbelievable experience. I play with likes of Van Persie, even like Leonardo, who played for Newcastle Jets a few seasons ago, was there as well.
Wow.
Yes, all the big players was just starting, so it was unbelievable experience. And I was choose to go there and experience that.
That's awesome. Well, Enrique, can you tell us why you ended up choosing to come to the A-League and, why the Brisbane Roar? What brought you to Australia?
To be honest, I'll be very honest with you guys. So I didn't choose. It was just an opportunity that comes up. I was about to sign in a club in Brazil, which would make me sign like my biggest contract in Brazil. But I wasn't very happy, I wasn't very happy in Brazil. So I already decided if something else comes up to change everything, I would take. And I don't know if you guys remember Ronaldo, so who played before me at Brisbane Roar.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was a very good friend of mine.
You signed to replace him, right?
Yes, exactly right. So I played with him in Brazil since young age, and he called me one day and just like, oh, look, if you want to change, that's the opportunity. So I'm injured, and they are looking for a replacement. And, I show you videos here. They love. If you come here, I think that's a big opportunity for you and for the club. I say, oh, well, so I'm free and I want to change. Yeah, let's take it. So in the end, it was a win-win. So everybody won.
That's right. And you fell in love with the country too, right?
Yes, that's something that I have to express. The city, the country, the club all embrace me, and I'm very grateful for Australia. So my family are very happy here. So I have 2 beautiful children. They are all born here. So we are very happy.
Yeah, awesome.
Fantastic.
Sounds like a very good story. Worked out for everybody,
That's it.
Yes.
Compared to most of the A-League players, Enrique, you're quite accomplished. You won 3 championships with the Roar. Are you satisfied with that, or do you still strive for more titles?
No, I'm never satisfied. And I think when I feel satisfied, I have to stop. So yes, it was a great memory, great achievement. I'm very proud of that. I think the club is very proud. but me and I think the club that's have the same mentality. So we are always going for more, and that's what make me get up every morning and go to training, improve myself, improve my game, and win more titles.
Well, you guys at the Roar, you won it back to back to back, which is amazing accomplishment. And I remember in the 2011 Grand Final against the Mariners, where when you made your comeback after the broken arm and you scored the winning penalty, that must have been such a rewarding feeling. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, back the story. So it was a hard time for me. It was my major injury at the time. So I never had any injury like that before. And, be sidelined for almost 4 months and come back just for the final series. And everybody telling me before, so yeah, just worry about next season. Don't worry about this season. And I was, at that time, I spoke with my wife, so everybody just write me off, and I'll show everybody that I still can do it this season. So, and to come back and win and score the first goal of the comeback and score the winner penalty was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. It was good feeling. So I can't really describe how emotional I was at that time.
You were such an integral part to the team, and you still are now. Yeah. But Stefan, what's your next question for
well,
Henrique?
I want to ask Henrique, playing under the great Frank Farina must have been an honour. How was he as a coach?
Yeah, very good. So I have to tell you guys this story. So I just arrived,
Go for it,
and so we were playing against Celtic, and he tried to make a substitution at halftime. So I didn't understand, because I was playing really well, and it was me to come off, and I was like, oh, but I don't understand. I don't understand English. I don't know what he says. So I was playing well. I don't know why I'm coming off. Anyway, so the next day after the game, I was choosing, the best player of that match. And he came to me and said, with the translator, and he just like, look, you have to understand. So football, it's like this. The coach make a choice, and you just have to accept. So from then on, I learned football-wise, because before was just funny. But I know now, like, the coach has a job to do. The coach need to make a choice, need to make his point, and the players have to accept. And that was a big learn for me, big learn. So I never had any coach that I learned so much apart from him.
All right.
Was he a tough coach, Frank? Was he
Not
tough?
Not at all. So he was the humblest guy I ever met in my whole career. Yeah. So, and that's why he told me in a nice way. He told me in a really nice way, but I learned so much from that moment.
Look, at least you didn't spit the dummy like Kepa Azarbrillaga did. When he had to get subbed off, that was a big mess. So, at least you did the right thing, the team thing, and, you came off. Every player, I guess, is frustrated, but, it's a good thing to see.
Yeah.
Yes, and, like you said, that, like, it's a big disrespect, not just for the coach and just for his teammates, for the support, the crowd, to everybody, and as I say, like...
The player coming on wants to have his chance as well, and you're taking that away from him.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly right. So,
and he's your brother, like...
Yes, that's so disrespectful. But anyway, so that was his case, so he needs to take responsibility now, and the club, I think, will take action against him. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And, Henrique, who would you say has had the most influence on your career?
Ooh. It's emotional to say that. I think my father.
Yeah.
He never saw me play any professional game, but I think he's always with me. So...
Of course,
yes.
Henrique is always there. When you're on the field, he's always watching, and I'm sure he'll be proud of you. Like, mate, you've accomplished so much.
I know, you've accomplished everything. You're a household Australian A-League player name. Everyone knows who you are in the A-League. We all know Henrique, mate.
That's right.
So you've accomplished big things.
But thanks, one thing, Henrique, can we ask you, where does the nickname Slippery Fish come from?
To be honest, I don't know, guys. I love the
We-
nickname, but I don't know. I don't even know. I think someone came up with that, so yeah, worked really well. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's quite creative, you know.
Yeah.
So, Henrique, in 2016, you left Brisbane for Adelaide. What made you push for a move back to Brisbane?
Look, when I come back to Adelaide, so I was very happy to be back in Australia, and Adelaide opened the door for me to be back and my family as well. So, but I was searching for something, even when I left Brisbane before I come back to Adelaide, I was searching for something and I thought it was elsewhere. But my happiness, I know it's always going to be here, football-wise, play with close friends and, the club that I love to play for. So that's why I came back to Brisbane, because I love the club. When I first came to Australia, I fell in love with the city, the club, the supporters, everybody here. So I have a lot of friends here. So that's why I came back.
Yeah, well, look, Enrique, if you ever want to move down to Melbourne,
Come back here.
we love the Melbourne Victory. We like Brisbane Roar too, but, we'd be happy to have you on the wing.
Any day.
Can you tell us about, your teammates at the Roar? Who's the biggest, joker in the locker room?
Oh, bigger joker. So we had quite a few. So, but at the moment, I think Jack Hinger. Yes. But in the past, we had Massimo Mudoka. Oh, what a funny guy.
I like the cool pranks, huh?
Yeah, we miss him so much. Who else? Charlie
What about
Miller
the
back in the
biggest
day.
sook? Who's the biggest sook? Come on, you doesn't take the
jokes. Who doesn't take the jokes right,
Yeah, who doesn't take the jokes?
I would say it's hard. I think everybody got a little bit banter, but I don't know why they don't joke around with me. I don't know why I'm so strong, but they never joke with me.
Maybe they're scared of you, Enrique.
They're intimidated.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe me. So I would say that because no one joke with me. So they don't like me.
You probably tear them apart in training. That's why they get scared.
I think, you're like the boss, and then they're like that. Like your little
The
followers.
students.
Yeah, the students. That's a good way to put it. But on a serious note, the Raw aren't in the best position this season. They're not doing as well as they could. What's your goal as a Brisbane Roar player for the end of the season? What would you like to see?
So yeah, as you guys say, we at the moment don't have the season that we plan to have. But now we have to finish on a high. My personal goal is win as much games as I can. Play more minutes than I can, and obviously I want to play more years. So yes, I need to finish it off this season really well. Winning games, and I think last game was a good starting point again for us as a team.
Yeah, it was a great win on the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we need to keep that up, and I think it's not just me, but everyone has something to prove. This season hasn't been good for us, and we need to prove a point.
Well, it's great. So what do you expect? Next season will the Raw be title challengers again?
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
Yeah. So I think any team in the league. Come with the start of the season, I think that they can do it. I'm pretty sure with the change that the club will make us strong, will make us really strong. We need to be back on track. We need to plan really well for next season, and 100% sure we're going to be back strong than we are right now.
Yeah. And, mate, just quickly, are you signed on for next season?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not,
So we've got to give Kevin Muscat a call.
We might have to give Kevin Muscat a call and get you down here.
Experience Melbourne.
No,
I mean, can you say can you say in plural terms, have you had any offers so far to stay?
Any
or
little
are
thing
you
that you can give
considering
away?
something else?
No, they know. They know that I want to stay here. That's my preference.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they know what I want. They know that I love this club, and I want to stay here. But
Yeah.
as a footballer, you never know. So I mentioned to them that I want to continue play, and
Yeah.
I've been showing that I'm capable of playing another season or so.
I agree.
So now
Yeah.
it's up to them, to make their work. And if they do so, they know that I always choose Brisbane. But as a footballer, you never know the future.
Of course.
Yes, that's
of course.
right. Well, on a final note, Henrique, give the youngsters out there who are listening to this interview a little bit of motivation and words, on what it takes to become the professional like yourself and, to get to win a championship and things like that.
So, yes, first and foremost is you need to drive. That's nobody going to go out there and train for you. You need to go out there and train as hard as you can and never, never, never be satisfied. The day that you being satisfied, that's the day you finish. So you're going to be always look for improvement. If you're tired, that's no worries, go again. If you make a mistake, no worries, go again. That's always the next day, and try to improve always.
Yeah, that's some great words.
That's amazing. That really sticks with me, mate. Henrique, look, we thank you for your time today, and it was a pleasure having you on to tell us your footballing story.
Yeah, absolutely. A massive pleasure. And, we hope you get that contract next season. And, hopefully we can speak to you again sometime, and see how things are tracking.
No, thanks so much, guys. It was a pleasure to be with you. And I hope we can speak soon and talk about my next contract.
Yeah, done.
Very soon.
Please consider Melbourne victory.
Please come to Melbourne. If there's an offer from Melbourne, just come. All right? Just come here.
No, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Henrique, have a good one. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
That was a real pleasure interviewing Henrique. He was very humble. He gave us some fantastic advice. Great.
I sounded like I had a little bit of a parrot there, repeating my question. But no, in all seriousness, he was probably one of the best players that we've spoken to.
Yeah,
and mate, give him a contract, Brisbane Roar. What are you doing?
I know. What are they doing? He's one of your pivotal players. But a huge thank you.
Or Kevin Muscat, if you're listening.
To Henrique.
He can help out the victories and attack. But yeah, as you said, thank you.
That was really... Anyway, let's move on to Game of the Week.
Oh, you beauty! What a headshot! What a head!
Unbelievable. What a fantastic game it was. Our Game of the Week was the battle for the top four in England, currently between Arsenal and United. The game finished 2-0 to Arsenal, which was pretty much of a shock. Nick, what did you make of the game?
Mate, it was a weird game. We deserved to lose it because we didn't take our chances.
I think I've never heard you say that. We need to get that on the rerun.
It's just honest. We outplayed them in patches, then they got goals at important times, and that's it. It just ruined it, for the United players.
Well, let's talk about the goals. Now, firstly, it's Solskjaer's first EPL loss as a United manager, so it's probably a good thing that he got the monkey off his back. But it started with a complete howler by the overrated David De Gea.
Overrated in your opinion, anyway.
In everyone's opinion.
Anyway, just because you got Olsen at Roma,
all right. Probably a better job.
You don't know what a good goalkeeper looks like.
It's all right, mate. He's not looking at the skies during the day.
It was absolutely shocking. It was a blunder.
Thank you.
Shaka's strike was nothing special. It was nothing.
But
Dimi Petrados' goal was so much better.
The trajectory,
it was a hidden hope.
He wasn't going to hit it.
It was a hidden hope. Some wind hit the ball.
No, but he hit it because he saw De Gea was looking up in the clouds. Off his line.
I don't rate it at all. It was poor goalkeeping, but what can you do, mate? He saved us so many times.
That's right. We'll give his true qualities coming at the game.
We'll give him an off day.
Well, look, United had their chances. They hit the woodwork twice in the first half. They just looked hungover after the sensational Champions League effort.
Yeah, and Matic really looked off the pace as well. Coming back from injury, and Arsenal have now leapfrogged United and are in fourth position, unfortunately.
Yes, and that penalty, what do you make of it?
It came at a good time for them. We were attacking, cutting through their midfield, their defence, and, we looked the more likely team to score. But, they got the penalty call. It was pretty soft, but it was a penalty, whatever.
It's a penalty. That's it.
And Aubameyang put it through. Like, he couldn't do it against Spurs. Well, unlucky he put it through.
But anyway, Arsenal's 9th home win in a row, and they're now only a point behind Tottenham.
Well, there's 8 games left. Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea fighting for 3rd and 4th position. Who do you think will get it?
I'll have to say, I think Arsenal will get in there, but between Tottenham, Man U and Chelsea, I don't know. I can't give you an answer. Give me a couple of weeks, I reckon, because they all got important games coming up. None of them have an easy run, whereas Arsenal have the easiest run, so Arsenal will make it through. So.
We blew a chance, but it's fine. It's Arsenal. They've got a history of
Tottenham
not performing.
I think Tottenham could drop out.
I won't be surprised if they come out and lose to Newcastle in the next EPL game. But I think Chelsea and United will finish 3rd and 4th.
Of course you're going to say United.
Tottenham, no, we will. You'll see. I guarantee that.
Oh, you guarantee it? All right,
easy
nice.
money if you want to go and bet on it.
Yeah, no, don't bet.
But bet responsibly.
Don't bet.
Bet responsibly.
Anyway, apart from that dreadful game between Arsenal and Manchester United, let's move on to Around the Leagues. Yes, let's begin now with Around the Leagues, and let's start it off with Tottenham Hotspurs. They are a dark horse in the Champions League, in my opinion, but their form in the EPL is absolute garbage. 1 point in their last 4, blowing a 10-point lead in front of 4th.
It's absolutely ridiculous how bad they are at the moment. They dominated Southampton the whole game, and they managed to throw the game away, really, albeit the Saints are fighting for survival, but the Spurs are fighting for top 4.
Yeah, well, Pochettino watched from the sidelines, serving out his ban, and afterwards he ripped into the team saying they were complacent and arrogant, which he is so disappointed about.
And after they, triumphed in the Champions League against Dortmund and announced they would be moving into their, new home after the mid-season break, the international break, sorry, the result in the EPL against Southampton was an absolute shock for me, especially with what's on the line for them. You better hope they're an actual dark horse in the Champions League, because it doesn't look like they're finishing anywhere near the top 4. They're going to be 6th.
They will do something in the Champions League. We'll just wait and see. That I can assure you already, mate.
It'll be interesting.
But now, let's move on to the Merseyside derby, where Liverpool drew 0-0 with Everton and saw them give up top spot to Manchester City.
The bin dippers. And apparently it was because... if you listen to Mr. Klopp and believe him, it was the wind's fault, What absolute rubbish.
Since when did he become a weatherman?
I don't know. He's got Sandra Sully or whatever her name is.
Well, look, I mean, the argument's there about whether they've let it slip again. So I'll ask you, do you think they let it slip?
I think it's hard for them now. It's City's to lose. They're in front. They got that point in front. That's all they need, man.
But there's still 8 games left, so anything can happen. And both teams are still in the Champions League contention, so, everyone's got an equal shot at getting multiple trophies if they like.
I think Liverpool have shown recently that they're not the team that everyone thinks they are. They're not without a chance.
What's your tip for the
I think
title?
City will win.
Well, I think Liverpool.
That's fair enough, but I think it'll be proven that Liverpool's not good enough.
Okay. Well, sorry, Liverpool fans, for that.
And it all begins with bombing out to Ajax in the Champions League, hopefully.
No.
Hopefully they get Ajax.
Now let's head over to Spain for some big news in La Liga. Zizou is back in town.
Huge news.
He's back, the Baldy.
Well, it's a complete surprise for me. I didn't expect it at all, They have been horrible form, though. They, bombed out to Ajax. They got thrashed.
Yeah, they did. They got thrashed.
And then 2 losses in the El Clasico against their massive rival Barcelona. But I don't think it was time for Santi, to get his head chopped off.
I'm spewing that they sacked him because I would have loved to see him stay on for another year or 2 and see the demise of Real Madrid. But unfortunately, we won't get to see that now.
Mate, I don't think it comes down to the coach. I think it's just the players. They're not the same team they were.
I agree with that.
12 months ago.
I agree. But the coach's not good enough anyway, so...
Oh, we will never know. They didn't give him a chance.
Who is he, man? Who is he?
He's
a nobody.
3 managers in one season. Come on.
He's
give
a nobody.
Somebody a chance.
Go split the oranges.
But yeah, I think they brought back the wrong man, really. It wasn't Zidane who was responsible for the amazing results that they achieved, winning the 3 Champions Leagues, whatever. It was the Portuguese master CR7 who was responsible, and he's in Turin winning ties for them now.
Yeah, well, it's reported as well that there's 400 million euros for them to spend, and Neymar's top of the list. So,
Mate, if that's true, I think, that's a big buy for them, a big thing, But it's really their MO and shows they don't want to develop their players. They're ready to buy their made players.
Anyway, let's talk about that team in Turin that I absolutely hate. Juventus had a huge comeback this week. They won 3-0 at home against Atletico. They went through to the quarters and Ronaldo hat-trick. No more to say. Forget it.
Mate, huge result for the old lady. I know you're a bit sour, but that's fine.
It's all right. We did it first. So
Ronaldo was on absolute fire, mate. He was on fire.
No,
he led that team.
It's good to see Ronaldo, smashing it, and it's good to see an Italian team up there. I don't know what that meant for Italian football, not even to have one team. So at least it's the championship winning team in the quarters.
And look, we called it last week's episode. We said,
I know someone out there would have cashed in. Someone out there would have cashed in big time.
Unfortunately, it wasn't me, but Oh, and also, I remember that post we saw during the week of Patrice Evra, Manchester United's former teammate. Well, he was Ronaldo's former teammate at Manchester United. Sorry.
Yes, get it right.
And he showed us text that they were texting before the second leg, and what did it say?
The text said, "People kill me every time you or Juve lose," and then Ronaldo replied saying, "I know, we're gonna pass, bro. At home, we will smash them."
I love that. Just that confidence, like he knew. It wasn't over, and that determination just proves why he's the GOAT.
Yeah, that's right. He's a testament to himself. He's a hard worker, and he's pretty determined. So, good on him. Why not?
Well, unlike another team in Italy, Inter Milan.
Yes.
Went crashing out on Friday against Frankfurt, 1-0.
Oh, my God. They named that after...
Mate, that's what you get.
That's a sausage. That's a hot dog, Frankfurt.
It is. Well, it's a team that beat Inter Milan and sent them packing.
Well, that's it. They deserve it.
That's what they get for treating their best player like crap.
Well, I agree, mate. Inter at the start of the season, so much hype, so much, to know. They're going to challenge Juve. Bananas. They're losing to teams like Frankfurt. Pack the club up, send Spalletti home, and, that's it. Call it a day, Inter Milan. Fold.
Look, that's
fold.
That's a big call.
Might as well.
Well, apparently Icardi's on his way to either Juventus or Real Madrid, who are leading the race for his services.
I think he'll end up at Real Madrid. He's that type of player. He's a black type of player.
I think he loves the Serie A, or maybe he wants to prove himself. Who knows? In a different league.
Yeah, well there you go.
But imagine he goes to Juventus. What a front three: Ronaldo, Dybala, Icardi.
Yeah, that's the best three in Europe.
Oh,
by far,
better than PSG's front three.
Yes, I firmly think so.
And
now,
well, I agree. And speaking of Inter, they're in shocking form. Roma had their chance, mate, to get into the top four, and then they're just not taking it. They went down 3-0 to their rivals Lazio. What's going on?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Merda Roma.
Do you know what's
That's
happened
what I was
in 2
hearing.
weeks? Shut up. Do you know what's happened in 2 weeks? Have you heard the news, or do you want me to enlighten you?
Well, there have been some changes. Let us know.
Massive changes. Medical staff out. Coach out. Sporting director out.
Owners out. Come on.
No, not the owners. In comes Ranieri and the crew, and a new sporting director who hopefully won't sell 6 or 7 players per transfer window and bringing 11 hacks like Steven Nzonzi and Javier Pastore.
Well, Ranieri's back for his second stint. Monchi's gone. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I am, because I know Ranieri's capabilities. He took us within 30 minutes of taking the title of Inter, the treble-winning Inter, of Mourinho's Inter. So for that, I can say, give him a chance, and I hope he can stay on.
Well, it's great to see that they're, willing to change something and not just doing nothing, really. But they got to stop selling their players, man. It's like Arsenal. I
agree.
You guys are trying to pay for a new stadium. Maybe, here's an idea. Here's a little idea. Maybe you guys merge with Inter and then you'll be fourth.
Never. Inter merda. No, look, we'll see what happens. There's a lot still to go down in Italian football. The race for the 4 is pretty hot. But anyway, let's move away from Italy and let's go into the Asian Champions League. So 2 games are now completed in the Asian Champions League.
Mate, and unfortunately our Aussie clubs are absolute rubbish.
As per usual.
Well, the victory... from 2 games, 2 losses, 0 points. And Sydney, 1 draw, 1 loss, so they have 1 point. Can the Aussies turn it around?
No chance, mate. None of them are making it through. They're an embarrassment to our country.
Well, another embarrassing thing, when they played against Hiroshima, they actually played a second-string Hiroshima side.
Yeah, I know.
if you look, that was their first game for the season. Right, the J-League's maybe, 4 rounds in now?
Yeah.
But these players haven't played 1 minute.
That's a joke.
That's the second-string side. what does it say about the A-League, like this victory is the best team on paper in the A-League.
And they went there with Toivonen and Honda and played our first team, and we got absolutely dominated.
Is it just because they're not showing up right now? Like, we're talking about the plague before.
I think it partially could be that they're not showing up, but it's not going to get easier. Cannavaro's coming here in 3 weeks' time with Guangzhou, with Jackson Martinez up front. They're going to get an ass-kicking.
That's going to be a good game. We should head down to that one.
Yes.
But finally, European competition has been tough, for the English teams in recent years. But this season, all 6 teams in the Champions League and the Europa League have qualified to the next round. Why is that, Stefan? Has, the English League improved, or has everyone dropped off?
No, I just think they've had favourable draws, and Manchester United coming back includes them in. Man City getting an easy draw. Tottenham showing up, which was good. And then you've got the other 2, Chelsea and Arsenal, who are doing well in the Europa League. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's because of the league. I mean, everyone remembers the winner. Just because they made it doesn't mean nothing.
But seriously, in the last 5 years, one team will make it through. Sometimes no teams will make it through. So
yeah, I know.
They're improving.
Yeah, but look at last season for the Italian league, right? Yep. Napoli, Fiorentina, Lazio make it through in the Europa. Roma and Juve make it through, right? Napoli bombed out one team. 5 teams, the league's resurged. No, because no one won it. Yeah. If the best,
it's too early to call. I get what you're saying.
It's too early to call, and 2 of them are going to drop out because of the draw.
Well, let's have a look at the Champions League games that came out.
I know, I'm licking my lips already after what I've seen.
So we got an all-English quarterfinal, Spurs versus City.
Oh, well, Man City's are through already.
You reckon?
No more dark horse. Spurs might knock them out. You don't know.
Then we got Ajax and Juve.
Juve already through.
The giant killers.
Yeah, right.
Ajax a chance? Or is Ronaldo too much?
Ronaldo's too good. Semi-finals already for Juventus supporters. Start cheering.
The big game, Porto got it pretty easy. Porto's got Liverpool.
Liverpool are through. Enjoy.
Yeah, I think it's quite easy for them.
Enjoy Liverpool.
I don't know.
Enjoy
they beat
yourself.
Roma made the semi-finals last season. Couldn't happen. I don't think so.
I don't think so. That's my clear word.
And the last one, the biggest tie, maybe.
Yes,
the biggest rivalry.
Yeah, the biggest.
The replay of the 2009
Oh, you remember?
One, I think, where we lost.
You remember?
United versus Barcelona.
Far out. What a game.
Is United a chance?
Yeah, of course. I think United can beat them.
Interesting.
I think, my predictions for all of them, I'll give them to you.
Go.
The semi-finalists will be Liverpool, Juventus, I hate to say it, Manchester City, and as much as I hate to say it, Manchester United.
Thank you very much. I agree with that.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. At least we're friends.
And let's hope Porto get the job done.
And that's our Around the League segment. Now let's move on to my favourite segment,
Fan Talk.
When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
Nick, our first question comes from Joseph
Give
McAway.
it to me. Come on.
The Jets, will it be an easy win or will the pressure to win big get to them?
Well, I think he's referring to them getting into the finals.
Yes.
Like we were sort of saying before, I think the Jets are a real chance. And either City or Adelaide are going downhill. Right?
Yeah.
So I think they have the experience from last season making the grand final, and I think they'll be in there. They'll be in there for you, Joseph.
Yeah, I think, Mr. McAway, you're correct, mate. Jets all the way. They're going to make the six.
Yeah, come on, Jets. Come on, Georgieski fans. Get behind them.
Get behind them.
Let's see Adelaide drop out. I'll love nothing more than that. What's next?
Our next question comes from Flying Penguin. Oh, my God.
Mate, he loves us.
This guy loves
That's all right.
He says, what is the best haircut for maximum football performance? Is it Fellaini's afro that blocks defenders' views of the ball as they try to win those aerial duels? Is it Ryan Babel's red hair that you could pick him out from your peripheral vision? Is it Kevin Muscat's shiny head that blinds the opposition's keeper? So I think you get the drift. What do you reckon?
I think you make some good points, like, having Fellaini in a wall. You never know.
Yeah, no, that's true, actually. Who's the best... What's the best footballing haircut?
Footballing haircut? I don't know. You got to just be plain and simple, or else you're just showing off, I think. Yeah. I think it plays nothing.
I reckon, look...
It could make some points, but I think it just has nothing to do with it.
I think, regardless of the performance, the best-looking haircut that we've seen in football was Edgar Davids, mate. The dreads.
Oh, the dreads and the sunnies.
Yeah, the dreads and the sunnies. I think that was something special. I saw that, I was like,
More importantly... At least he's off the handball questions.
Yeah, I agree. And the VAR decision, so he's calmed down a bit, which is good. And our final question comes from Mane _YNWA. Oh, no.
Good friend Mane.
With the CL about to enter into the quarterfinals, who are the finalists this year, he asks.
Ooh,
So, Nick, who is there at the final this year? Who is it against who?
It is Juventus against Barcelona.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be Manchester United versus Liverpool.
Oh, wow. I like it.
There's no other options.
I'll give you one option, and I know for a fact this will happen. I can tell you right now. It's going to be Manchester City versus Barcelona.
Ooh, big call.
Yeah.
Big call.
Pep up against Messi, his protege, if you like.
Well, that's been fan talk for this week. Thank you for all your questions, and look out for the post in the next fortnight. Get them in. Let's get as many as possible.
Post your questions.
We love
people.
fan talk, so give us
It's
the
my favourite segment. I want 20 questions a week.
Give us topics. Give us anything you want us to discuss.
Anything, haircuts, socks colours, anything, shorts. Anything goes.
How bad Roma is. Anything.
How overrated De Gea is. Anything at all.
But anyway.
Yeah, I just want to talk about some European qualification now for the Euro.
Yes, they kick off this coming week.
Yeah, and all the groups are out, and, as we know, all the heavyweights are playing, and the heavyweights are going to go through because it's the Euro, but...
Not necessarily.
I mean, well, look, I think most of them will go through, but if you have a look at the groups, there are some enticing games, You've got, a group, like Group G, for instance, it's got Austria, Macedonia, Israel, Latvia, Poland, and Slovenia. I mean, any one of those teams can go through.
Well, it's the group of death. I think it's the hardest group. Because
it is. I mean, but just
have
a look.
4 out of the 5 that could really potentially make it.
But that's right. But then you've also got, another group here. You got Azerbaijan, Croatia, Hungary, Slovakia, and Wales.
Yeah, another one.
No major heavyweight in there. All right, Croatia, they made the final, but, no major heavyweight in there. And then you've also got Group D with Denmark, Georgia, Gibraltar, Ireland, and Switzerland. I think it's good that they've sort of separated the groups and actually given an opportunity to maybe, let's say, 18 teams within those 3 groups.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can progress with this group,
And there's still the UEFA Champions League finals to be played, which is another way to get in. So
yeah, that's right.
All the leagues, the A, B, C, D leagues
seeded,
that were won,
they're
going to the finals now. So that's another way to qualify.
I think it's a smart move.
Mate, I think, for me, this is probably Macedonia's biggest chance see them go through.
But look, they've actually got a chance. They've got an equal chance as anyone because there's no major heavyweight in that group. I like the way they've structured the groups. Yeah. For once, it's actually reasonable and fair.
It'll be very exciting to see. I think it'll be a good qualification round this time. There's more teams. It'll be better.
Yeah, and even if you take a look, for instance, at Italy's group, right, you've got Armenia, Bosnia, Finland, Greece, and Liechtenstein. They're all sort of on the same level. So who's going to go in with Italy? Because Italy will qualify. It's not a question.
Ooh, don't be so sure.
It's the Euro, mate. They'll qualify.
Look at Netherlands, mate. They dropped out last qualification. Albania made it through.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
Look, it happens. It does happen, but I think it's good that they're giving a chance to the smaller nations to make a name for themselves. Because if you have a look at the World Cup, what did the World Cup show you? Croatia made it, and they're a tiny nation. They made the final, and credit to them.
But they got the quality players to do it.
That's true.
If you have a few quality players in a
few
positions...
Look at what you can do.
That's it.
That's right.
But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited to see what's happening.
I'm excited for the Euro. I can't wait. I love the international competitions. It should be awesome. It's going to be a great tournament, and I can't wait to see who makes it.
Yep.
Anyway, before we finish up, Nick, let's take a look at some of the upcoming games.
Yeah, so there's not that many because of the international break.
Yeah, that's right. Because of the break, we're a bit limited. But anyway, firstly, we have Sydney versus Melbourne City, which is a crunch game for both because Sydney need to extend the gap and City need to make finals.
Well, they have to make the final spot. They have to,
So what's the tip?
They have to win.
What's the tip?
I think Sydney's... I think actually it's going to be a draw.
I actually think Melbourne City's going to shock them and win.
You think so?
Yeah,
I think McLaren's been a godsend for them.
Yeah,
Imagine they had McLaren and Fornaroli playing.
Wow. I mean, they can. They've got him right now. It's the Shoemaker's fault. It's all his fault.
Then we've got PSG versus Marseille. Huge rivalry there.
Yes.
Well, I can't even say
rivalry.
It.
You're saying it like the French.
Yeah. First versus fourth in the league.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Winners versus fourth.
PSG will win and lick their wounds after Manchester United embarrassed them.
Well, that's all they have to play for now.
Well,
they're out of the League Cup.
That's it.
They've already won the title.
Unbelievable.
It's just cruise control for now.
And lastly, we have the Milan derby, which
Huge
is AC
game.
Milan against Inter.
AC Milan all the way.
AC Milan all the way.
Inter's lost it.
I
That's
hope
it.
they both smash each other. This is Roma's chance. We win this week, we're back in the fall.
Well, let's
'Cause
see what
now-
happens. I don't know. You guys need to turn it around. You got a good result against Empoli.
Let's see.
Let's see if you can continue it. And our game of the week for episode 28.
Oh, can't
It's
wait.
a big one. It's Netherlands versus Germany in the qualification round. That's a huge game.
Unbelievable. That's
Who's
going to
top
nuts.
the group? Maybe this decides it.
Yes, maybe it does. I'm
Well,
going with the
they're both-
Dutch. Go the Dutch.
Well,
Forget
they're
about
both
Joachim Low.
qualifying.
Forget about Joachim Low. He's done.
Have the Dutch improved or have, the Germans just aged?
I guess we'll have to find out. But anyway, that has been our show for this fortnight. Some managerial changes, lots of teams showing heart to come back, and Liverpool showing they are contenders once again, giving up the lead in the EPL. I can't read. Oh, my goodness. We just slate you. Look, Liverpool fans, we're not slating you. It's only part of the process, all right?
It is, and they've let it slip, so we just got to give it to them.
We've gotta
It's just
give
like
it-
any other team.
That's right.
Just
This
like
is
any
football.
other
This
team.
is football. And that's been our show for this fortnight. Some managerial changes, lots of teams showing heart to come back, and Liverpool showing they are contenders, once again giving up the lead in the EPL.
Do you mean pretenders?
Pretenders, yes, indeed. I do.
But
It's part of the game. And,
It
we
is.
have received, we should clarify, we have received a lot of backlash on social media with our Liverpool
Yeah,
comments.
but that's what we want.
But that's the part,
Let us know what you
that's,
think.
That's right. That's part and process of football. We're going to slate you if you lose, but we're going to praise you if you win. That, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. So, PSG copped it,
Yeah. Roma's copped it, Chelsea. Every team
United's
gets their
copped it,
turn.
everyone.
That's it.
Continue, Stefan.
But lastly, make sure you like, follow, share the Coach Killers podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. All at Coach Killers Podcast.
Yes, at Coach Killers Podcast. And just remember, when you're told you can't do something, like go to France and pants a Mickey Mouse team in a Minnie Mouse league, remember that the Coach Killers Podcast told you it's possible.
Dilly ding, dilly dong.
Neymar, you're a